Guys, what's going on? Oregon Motorcycle bringing you another awesome episode today. In today's episode, we're talking about filming in 4K and is it really worth it? And are you guys watching it in 4K and all that good stuff? I'm even gonna throw in a couple YouTube tips in today's video to give you aspiring YouTubers maybe a better start or a better direction to head into and all that stuff. So guys, if this is your first time tuning in, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers right here on Oregon Motorcycle. Each and every one of you guys can help me accomplish that goal by hitting that subscribe button and sharing my videos and hitting that thumbs up. Give this video a like and go check out some of my other videos. I do all kinds of stuff with motorcycles, tutorials and maintenance and off-road, on-road, all that good stuff. Yeah, so let's jump into today's video.
Alright folks, so we're out here cruising these roads right now like I talked about earlier. So basically the question of the day is 4K worth it? And if any of you guys are YouTubing and you're filming in 4K, trying to get that better quality, I mean, how's it going on your editing side and what exactly, like, this is the whole thing. Like, I don't know if it's worth it. It's a little bit more of a pain to film because you're clogging up and taking up battery, you know, you're clogging up the cards faster and you're taking up more battery. And then when you go to edit, it's a little bit different. So there's some bugs that I'm working out right now, and I'm editing 4K. I mean, my new computer just buzzes through 1080, but I've noticed a couple hiccups now that I think I'm working on my 4th or 5th 4K video right now. And I'm trying to make the decision if it's worth it or not, if I'm going to continue. And I know some of you guys film in 4K and edit in 4K. And I can tell a difference when I view, and the quality's better. I can even tell a difference on my phone when I view them on my phone, and just a better quality. So I watch YouTube quite a bit. I have an old Mac that I view it on. I don't have a television. Actually, I do, but I let my buddy borrow it right now. But it's only like 1080 or HD or whatever that is, so it's not even 4K. So I don't even have a 4K monitor. My new laptop is like half-ass 4K. I don't even know exactly what it is. It's maybe it's 2800 by some, I don't know. Anyways, you guys can look at the stats on the new M1 MacBook Air. So like, are you guys able to view it in 4K? Are you guys viewing it in 4K if you're able to? You know, I know some of the Samsung phones have 4K monitors. My phone doesn't display 4K. My dog's having a good old time. It looks like a Great Dane, maybe. It is a Great Dane. So one thing that I see YouTubers do that, and you guys got to remember, these are my opinions, but they do hold some value because I'm just gonna let you guys in on a little secret. I have a buddy of mine that I have a working relationship on and off with for probably the past 5 years or so, and I just probably talked to him about a month ago or so. Anyways, he's actually a professional editor, and he was editing for a while for Grimm. I don't know if you guys know about that show, but that show was being filmed here in Portland, and he was on that crew for a while. They don't film it or make it anymore, so you know, he's doing some other things, whatever. But he would give me like some insider tips here and there and whatnot and that kind of stuff, and you know, we would talk, and he ended up giving me a book about editing, so I kind of like, you know, would go through that kind of thing. So some of these things that I know, you know, it's not just shit I made up. It's, you know, actually coming from, you know, it's professional advice, I guess you could say, or whatever, that kind of stuff. So, but going back to like things that I see people do, Africa Twin is the frame rate, you guys, and it's this frames per second. Now, if you guys know who you guys are filming, you guys have a selection like 24 frames a second or 30 frames a second, or like 45, I think is another one, and 60. And I see a lot of people filming in 60 frames a second, and it's just, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm just gonna come out and say, quit filming in 60 frames a second, because it's not the correct way that our eyes see moving images, okay? And this dates back, like, it's like a basic cinematography rule. And if you guys check out like any, not all, There is a few minor exceptions for movies, but 99.9% of all movies are filmed at 24 frames a second. And the reason for this is it's because we're trying to match that speed that our eyes view images at. And you know what people have discovered, and this was back around, I don't know, say the turn of the century, you know, around the 1900s or whatever. They kind of discovered or figured out that we view things in real life at about 24 frames a second, right there in that ballpark. And so when we film and we try to create movies, we're trying to make it look realistic, right? So we're trying to capture that image blur, and we're trying to capture the colors and the exposure all the way we're seeing it. And if you guys notice, like GoPros, they never capture the contrast correctly, so you always got to add contrast in post-production. That's just like, you know, something that, you know, you throw out there. We're trying to match that what we see in real life. And so when you do 60 frames a second, that's like I think some soap operas or some shit was filmed in 60 frames a second, and they look funky. You know, go back and watch a soap opera from the 80s. They look funky because they're, you know, the frame rate's all off or whatever. And again, going back to what you're trying to recreate, what we see, it's that motion blur. So if you guys try to look at an object, okay, try to look at like one of these signs, and then focus on that, and then have something move behind it, or move your head, and then move your head and try to focus on another sign. And what you're going to see is you're going to actually see blurry images in your own vision until you refocus on the sign. And that's what filming in, you know, 24 frames a second is trying to recreate. And I don't film in 24 frames a second. I film in 30 frames a second, and there's not that big of a difference. It's probably unnoticeable. It's just easier to set up in the cameras or whatever. And maybe I should go back especially if I'm going to film in 4K, because that'll knock down the storage a little bit if I go to 24 versus 30. So maybe I'll do that on my next videos, just so I can practice what I preach. But no, I film in 30K. All my stuff's in 30K. It always has been, always will be. Or, I mean, 30 frames, always has been, always will be. Maybe I'll try the 24, but I know maybe some of you guys are misled, or you guys are trying to obtain a higher quality by trying to go to a faster frame rate, and it's just not the case. If you guys are trying to get a higher quality, you guys need to go to a higher resolution. And one way you could do that is you could film, for instance, like you could film in 2K, was what I call it. It's 2.8 or whatever the hell it is. It's kind of in between 1080 and 4K. You guys can try that out. And what filming with like that allows you to zoom in a little bit and not have it so blurry. So that's, you know, one thing you guys could try if you're not totally set up to film in 4K. I've done that before I got, you know, my new stuff. But I just wanted to hit on that for a little bit. It's one of my pet peeves when I see people, you know, filming in 60 frames a second, and I'm like, what the hell? Now, you know, we could go into like slow motion and stuff like that. That's a whole nother topic. When I shoot B-roll, I'll do 60 frames a second. That's because I know I'm going to knock it down to 50% in speed. And so when you knock 60 frames a second down to 50%, that comes out to 30 frames a second. And it's a little more smoother. It's not as choppy, but you guys can go back on some of my videos and you can find me shooting B-roll in slow motion at 30 frames a second, and you can see how it's kind of choppy or whatever. But anyways, it doesn't matter. So yeah, if you guys are shooting 60 frames a second, try shooting in 24 or 30 frames a second. And like I said, if you're going for that higher quality, you know, you gotta increase the oh my gosh, totally drawing a blank. I'm thinking of so many things right now. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So anyways, guys, I would love your input. I would love your thoughts. If you guys are interested in more filming techniques or tips and tricks, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll make another video on, I don't know, B-roll, how to get good B-roll, how to do good B-roll, and stuff like that. I don't know. That stuff's fun. It's not something I necessarily focus on. I don't know. My videos tend to focus more on quantity versus quality, and I feel like when a YouTube channel is starting out, that quantity goes way further than quality. So there's another there's some more free YouTube advice for you guys. Put out more content in the beginning and slowly increase your quality as time goes by. And maybe that's some of what you'll see on my channel, especially now that I'm going for 100,000 subscribers, you guys. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. All right, anyways, I got to get back to following these roads, guys. Appreciate all you guys tuning in and watching the video and putting up with that background noise that you hear right now. So until next time, folks, Oregon Motorcycle. All right, this is the road I wanted to get on. This road is sweet, dude.